Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this video I have something really amazing to show you, and we are going to build a awesome landing page with cool animations using JavaScript. So this is the landing page that we are going to build in this video, and if I refresh the page you will see a lot of animation on the page, the animated images, the labels, the slider background, and the animated logo and menu items. So if this sounds interesting, then watch the video till the end. Also make sure you subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the videos like this one. So let's get started. Alright guys, so I have already set up some of the basic project structure. So you can see that I have a CSS folder, images folder for my images, and I have a JS folder for JavaScript, and I have an index.html. So for this animation, we are going to make use of GSAP library. So we will just going to add the script of the GSAP library from the CDN. So I'm just showing you the CDN link, and the first link you can just click on the copy script and you can add it directly in your HTML. So I have already added the GSAP link, and the next one is the script.js, which we are going to write the JavaScript. I have added my style.css, and I am using a Google font Roboto. So that's what I have for my index.html. For the CSS, I have the universal selector with removing the margin padding and some default styling which I need for throughout this project. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to build the HTML markup. So in order to make the HTML markup, let's see the page that we are going to build. So we can see that we have three images, we have a background, and then we have a logo and the menu items. So let's make the markup. So what I just going to write a header with a class of header and inside the header I want a div with a class of logo, and the content for the logo is Travelpedia, and after that I need an adjacent nav which will have my navigation menus. So I will have UL, then LI. I need three LIs, and inside the LI I need an anchor tag, and inside the anchor tag I'm going to write home. All right, so I have my structure for the header, so I'm just going to change this to home, travel, and this will become contact. All right, the next thing we need to do is we want to create a section which will contain the images. So for that I will have three sections. So three sections, and inside the section I'm going to have a div with a class of banner. Inside that I need to have an image, and adjacent to the image I'm going to have the banner title. So for that I'm going to create a div with a class of banner title, and the title I'm going to give a France as title. All right, so now we have this, and let's give the image source. All right, and the second one is Switzerland, and the third one is Italy. All right, next I need two divs which will be the sliders, one from the left and one from the right. So for that I'm going to do div slider dot slider 1 multiplied by 2. So I'm going to have two divs with slider 1 and slider 2. All right, now I have the complete HTML markup. So if I refresh it, then you will see that we have the images and everything is placed. Let's go and write the CSS for it. All right, so we will first start with the header. So let's have a CSS for the header. So I'm going to use the display flex, then justify center, then align item center. All right, and I'm going to give a height of 10 VH and a padding of 20 pixel and 40 pixel. And I'm going to give a CSS to logo. So for the logo, I'm going to use a font size of 0.5 rem and a font weight of 300. All right, and then let's write the CSS for the navigation as well. For the navigation UL, I'm going to do list style type none. And I'm going to use a display flex there as well so that my menus get in line. So display flex, justify content as center, align items as center. And for the li, so for the li nav ul li, I'm going to give a font size of 1.5 rem. And let's give some padding so that we can get some spacing. So for that, I'm going to give a 0 pixel and 10 pixel. We are going to make this as space between. All right, and next is let's style the section part. So for the section, so I'm going to write the section, and for the section we are still going to use the display flex so that we can get all the elements, all the images next to each other. So for that I'm going to do justify content as center, and the width should be 100%, and I need a height of 80 vertical height. So I'm going to go 80 VH and align the items in the center. All right, and then give the class of banner for the div of the images. So this is the banner div. So let's style the banner div. So for the banner, I'm going to use position relative with the width of 30%, and I'm going to give a height of 100%. All right, so now let's see how it looks. So now we can see that the header is proper, but we need to give some styling to the images so that we have a proper image sections. So let's go back to the CSS, the banner images. I'm going to write banner and I'm going to write image. All right, and for the banner images, I need my height should be 100%. My width should be 100%. And I'm going to use the object fit property, and that should be cover so that my image will not get stretched. All right, now let's see. So now we can see that we get all the images one below the other, but they are not in a horizontal section. Next, let's add the CSS to the sliders, which are the background of the images. So for that, I'm going to write a slider. All right, and for the slider, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a position of absolute, and the top will be 0, left will be 0, right will be 0, and bottom would be 0. I'm going to give a width of 50%, and I'm going to give a height of 100%. All right, and for the slider 1 and slider 2, so we have two sliders, one coming from the left hand side and the other one coming from the right hand side. So if I refresh this page, then you will see that we have two sliders. So this is the images section, and now you will see that one slider come from the left and one come from the right. So let's have the style for those parts. So background, so for the background, I'm going to use the linear gradient so that we get a nice gradient. So the gradient should be to left, towards the left hand side, and I'm going to use 72787B, the first color, and the second color is 10284F. All right, and for the slider 2, I need the same background, but the gradient should be from to right. All right, and I'm going to give a left of 50%. All right, let's save it and let's see how it looks. So if I refresh it, then you can see that I get a proper background gradient, but I cannot see my images, and my images are now went down. So in order to get the images on top of the background, I just need to use a Z index. So I'm going to use a Z index property as -1. And now if I save it, then I can see that I get my images on top of the background. But these images should be in a horizontal line and not in a vertical line. All right, so let me inspect this, and did I made some mistake? So I can see that I need only one section, and inside the section I need all the three banners. So I have created three different sections. So let me edit the HTML first. So I'm going to remove this. All right, and now if I save it, then we should be getting three different images. All right, so now all the three images are in the horizontal or in a single row. Let me add some black overlay on the images so that we see, because right now the images are too bright. So let me add the overlay. All right, so I will go to the CSS and I'm just going to write a banner after. All right, and I'm going to use position absolute, top 0, right 0, bottom 0, left 0. All right, and for content, I'm going to give the content, and let's give the background. So for the background, I'm going to use RGBA, and it's going to be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.4. All right, so I have given the background as well, and let's give the width and height. So width should be 100%, height should be 100%. All right, and we also style the title of the banner. So let's style the title as well. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to add it, and I will change this. So this will become underscore underscore title. And for the title, I'm going to use the background as 0.6. The width should be 100%. And let me give the font size. So the font size will be 3 rem. Font weight 300. All right, and the top should be 50%. So I'm going to use 50% as top. Top width is already there, and let's get the text in the center. So text align center, and the background is already there. I want the text should be at the top of the background. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add this Z index as 1. And let's add some padding. So padding as 10 pixel, 20 pixel. And I will just remove this height. So now if I save it, then we get it. But if I refresh it, then nothing is going to happen. There is no animation. And now that's where we are going to use the JavaScript GSAP library for the animation. So let's start with the images first. So let's go to the JavaScript. All right, and in the JavaScript first, we are going to take the reference of each of the element that we want to animate. So I'm going to write first the slider document dot query selector all, and we have two sliders. So I'm going to take both the slider reference. So I have these sliders, and I'm just going to copy paste this. So after the slider, we want the banner to be animated. So for the banner, I'm going to use the banner here. After the banner, I'm going to write the banner title. So this will become the banner underscore underscore title. Next we want is the logo. So we want the logo. So I'm going to write the logo here, and the navbar. So for the navbar, I'm just going to use the nav. All right. So we can see that, let's see here. And so if I refresh this page, so we see that one, the banner images are getting animated. Next, the labels are getting animated. Then the background slider, then the logo, and then the menu items. So for these, we already have the references in our JavaScript file. So what are we going to do is we are first going to create the timeline max. So to create the timeline max, we just create a constant t1 that is equals to new timeline max, and make sure you use the small l and not the capital L. I have made mistakes a lot of time. So the first one, what we are going to do, we are going to do with the banner. So for the banner, t1 dot from to, And the first one is the element selector that you want to animate. So we want to animate the banner, the first banner. All right, and the duration will be 1, and then from where you want to animate to what point you want to animate. So that is going to have two objects. The first object, what I want, that I want my banner should come from 100%. So if I do this 100%, and then from 100% it should come to the 5 -5%. So I'm going to write -5%. All right, now if I save it, then let's see actually what happens. So I can see that there is a little bit of animation on my first image, but it's not that smooth. Let's add the animation to the label of the image as well. So this one. So let's go back here, and to add the animation, I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to add it here, and this will become the banner title. The animation duration I can give as 1.1, and I need an opacity of 0 and a top of 100%, and 2 it will become opacity of 1 and a top of 50%. All right, let's save it and let's see. So now you can see that we get an animation of the image, and then the label of the image also gets animated to top of 50. So let's do the same thing for the other two images. So for the other two images, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to add these 2 times, and I'm going to change this to banner 1 and change this to banner 2. And this will also get changed to banner 1 and changed to banner 2. All right. And now let's see. So now you can see that the animation is happening, but this is not the way of animation we want. So we want it in a different way. So we can actually change these values. So for the banner 1, what I want that it should come from the top. So I'm going to change the Y, and I'm going to change the Y to 140. And I need a rotation. So for the rotation, I'm going to give a 27, and it should go to Y0. And for the banner text, so for the banner text, I still need the opacity, and I'm going to do a rotation of 100, and it will go to a rotation of 0. All right. And for the third banner, I need my X to be 120. It should come from the right hand side to 5%, and the text should come from X. I will change this to X, and I will give this X to -30, and this should be 0. All right, and now let's see how it looks actually. So I can see that it's coming from the top, but the third one is not having a proper animation. So the only problem is with the third animation, and let's see what actually we did for the third one. So for the third one, this should be +120. And now if we see that, we get the animation of the image, we get the second animation, and we see the third animation. Similarly, we can also animate the background. So I want my background should come from 50% from right and 50% from left. So let's add to the background. So for the background, and one more thing we can do is to get a little bit ease and smooth transition, we can actually add a ease here. So I'm going to add an ease of power 2 dot ease in out, and let me add this to everywhere. So it's going to give me a little bit of smooth transition. All right. Yep. So now it's a little bit of smooth animation, you can see. Yep. Now let's animate the background. So it's very easy. You just need to do the I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to paste it twice. All right. And the first time it's going to be a slider 1, and the second will be the slider 2. So sorry, it will be 1 and this will become 0. All right, and I want my slider should come from the left hand side. So for that, I only need the X value, and the X should be negative 100%. So let's add a negative 100%, and it should come to 0%. All right, and similarly for the other one, it should come from positive 100% to 0. All right, now let me save it and let's see how it actually looks. So now we can see that we get the images. All right, we get the background, but we want that both backgrounds should start at the same time, not one after the other. So for that, we can actually add one more property here. We can add a position here, and I'm going to add a position. This will be equal to the so I will just change this to 1 so that delay should be less, and this will be equal to 1. So if I save it now, then you will see that we get both the backgrounds at the same time coming from left and the right. So yeah, and similarly you can actually animate the logo and the menu items. So for that, I mean, you don't need to do anything special. Let's just copy this and let's just add it. All right, so I have added this. I'm going to make this as logo. I'm going to make this as navbar. All right, and let's just save it and let's see how actually it happens. So you get the images, you get the background, and you get the logos. So now you can play around with the properties, you can play around the values, you can change the values, and you can add it and you can make it as beautiful as you want. So I mean, it's just how creative you can be. So I hope you like this video, and this is really awesome. If you have such animations on your web page, then it really looks cool and it stand out from the crowd. So that's all I have in this video. I hope you like this video. A thumbs up is appreciated. I will add the link of the code reference in the description. You can also connect with me via Facebook or Instagram. I will add the links in the description below. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the videos like this one. So guys, please subscribe so that I can be motivated and I can create more videos. Thank you. Thanks for